World of Warships. Is matchmaking rigged? Stick around and we'll find out. Hey everyone, Normal Guy of the North here. Ever wonder if your World of Warships matches are truly fair? You log in for a relaxing session, and suddenly you're stuck in 10 straight losses. At that point, it doesn't feel random, it feels like the game itself is stacked against you. So the question is, are those losing streaks just bad luck, or is something more sinister at play? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most persistent myths in this community. Is the matchmaking secretly rigged? Stick around, because by the end of this video, your whole perception of wins and losses might change. We've all been there. You're in your favorite ship, you're playing well, but the scoreboard keeps filling with red. Your shots scatter, your team evaporates, and it feels like the game is actively pushing you toward defeat. In those moments, a lot of players start to think, this can't be random, the game wants me to lose. And that's where the myth of rigged matchmaking comes from. It's fueled by the emotional punch of repeated failure. Losing one game is easy to shrug off, but 5, 8, or 10 in a row? That feels like proof the system is predetermined. So, what does Wargaming actually say about all this? Over the years, developers and community managers have been very clear. Matchmaking is not rigged. The system's job is to create 2 teams quickly, balance ship classes within the tier spread, and get players into battle without long wait times. There is no hidden algorithm that looks at your win rate and decides it's time to drag you back down. Wargaming has never released any patent or documentation suggesting they manipulate personal outcomes. In fact, the design philosophy they've explained is pretty simple. Make matches happen fast, keep them roughly fair, and let skill and teamwork decide the rest. Now, whether that always feels fair in practice, that's a different story, and we'll get into that. This is where hard numbers come in. Community tools like Warships, Today or WoW stats and numbers let players track thousands of battles. When you zoom out over weeks, months, or even years of data, you see a clear trend. Win rates stabilize. Skilled players, the ones with good positioning, map awareness, and target priority consistently maintain higher win rates. Casual players usually end up close to 50%. That fact alone is important. If matchmaking were truly forcing outcomes, those long-term skill gaps wouldn't exist. Everyone would be dragged back to a flat 50. But that's not what we see. So why do losing streaks feel like manipulation? Part of it is statistics. Even in a perfectly random system, streaks are inevitable. Flip a coin 100 times and you'll almost certainly get 10 heads or tails in a row somewhere. Losing 8 or 10 battles in a row might feel impossible, but mathematically, it's not unusual at all. The other part is psychology. Our brains are wired to focus on pain. A 12-game losing streak will stick with you for months, but a 12-game winning streak, that fades away pretty quickly. That's confirmation bias. We notice the bad more than the good. Now let's get into the mechanics of why matchmaking isn't perfect, even if it isn't rigged. Wargaming has to balance 3 competing goals. Keeping queue time short, keeping team composition reasonable, and dealing with whatever ships are available in the queue at that moment. That means sometimes you'll end up in battles where your team has 3 destroyers and the enemy only has 2. Or maybe you're bottom tier against a wall of battleships. That's not rigging, it's the price of fast matchmaking in a live service game. On top of that, World of Warships has a lot of randomness baked in. Shell dispersion, torpedo spreads, even the occasional old detonation all make the game feel chaotic. If you're already on tilt, RNG can feel like the game is laughing at you. But randomness doesn't equal rigging. And let's not forget the business side. Would Wargaming actually benefit from secretly forcing players to lose? Probably not. Frustrated players don't usually open their wallets, they quit. What makes sense financially is keeping players engaged long term. That means keeping matchmaking functional, even if it isn't flawless. So if the system isn't secretly stacking the deck, what can you do about those inevitable losing streaks? First, take breaks. When you tilt, you start rushing pushes, chasing damage, or ignoring objectives. The more frustrated you get, the more likely you are to compound mistakes. Second, use replays. Go back and watch the battles where you felt doomed. Did you position too aggressively? Did you fail to support the flank? Did you tunnel vision on damage instead of map control? Often, the answer lies in your own gameplay, not in the matchmaking. Watch more content contributors who make World of Warships content, especially replay channels. YouTube is great for that. Third, set realistic expectations. This is a random team-based game. Sometimes you will get teammates who are learning, experimenting, or just not paying attention. Over hundreds of battles, your own performance matters more than any one streak. Think of it like this. Matchmaking sets the stage, but you still write your own story. If you focus on improvement instead of conspiracies, you'll not only win more, you'll enjoy the game more too. So, is matchmaking in World of Warships rigged? No. The myth is persistent, but the evidence just isn't there. What feels like manipulation is really just probability, psychology, and the practical challenges of balancing a global naval combat game. But here's what I want to know from you. Have you ever felt like matchmaking was against you? Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to click on the videos you see on screen for more World of Warships content. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, take care and stay safe. See you in the next one, and bye for now.